You've probably been hearing about AI agents for months now. Maybe you even tried setting one up yourself. But here's the thing most people aren't talking about. The guy who actually cracked autonomous AI agents, who built the tool that hit 250,000 GitHub stars faster than anything in open source history, just got scooped up by OpenAI. And the reason behind it tells you exactly where the entire AI industry is heading in 2026.
Welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. Join our community of AI enthusiasts with our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the description below to subscribe. You will get the key AI news, tools, and learning resources to stay ahead.
So in this video, we're breaking down the full story behind OpenAI's acquisition of Peter Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw. We'll cover the billion-dollar bidding war between Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg, the technical architecture that made this tool blow up overnight, the massive security disasters that followed, and what OpenAI's roadmap for personal agents actually looks like. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly why the app grid on your phone might be living on borrowed time. Part 1. The AI that actually does things. Let's set the scene. It's late 2025, and the AI industry is stuck in a weird place. We've got incredibly powerful language models, GPT-4, Claude, Gemini, but they all do the same thing. You type something in, you get a response back. That's it. They react, they don't act. Enter Peter Steinberger. Now, Steinberger isn't some random indie hacker. This guy built PSPDFKit, a document framework running on over 1 billion devices. He exited that company for 9 figures. So when he turned his attention to AI, he wasn't messing around. In November 2025, he released a side project called ClaudeBot. The idea was deceptively simple. Instead of a chatbot that waits for your prompt, build an AI that wakes up on its own, checks your calendar, scans your inbox, manages your files, and executes tasks without being asked. He called it a digital coworker with eyes and hands. And this is where the concept of vibe coding really took off. You don't write code line by line. You describe what you want, and the AI handles the implementation. The growth was absolutely explosive. ClaudeBot went from a side project to 145,000 GitHub stars within weeks. By early March 2026, it was sitting at 247,000 stars. For context, that kind of velocity is basically unheard of in the open source world. But here's where it gets interesting. Anthropic's legal team noticed that ClaudeBot sounded a little too much like Claude. They sent a polite email asking for a name change. What followed was the fastest triple rebrand in open source history. ClaudeBot became Moltbot. Then Moltbot became OpenClaw. And ironically, all that drama only made it more popular. Part 2. The billion-dollar bidding war. By February 2026, this wasn't just an open source story anymore. This was a strategic chess match between the biggest players in tech. Mark Zuckerberg personally called Steinberger. Let that sink in. The CEO of Meta on the phone, reviewing this guy's code and pitching him a role inside Meta's superintelligence labs division. Rumors circulated about a significant equity stake being offered. Meta saw OpenClaw as the missing piece for integrating autonomous agents into their super app ecosystem. Meta saw OpenClaw as the missing piece for integrating autonomous agents into their super app ecosystem. Think agents embedded directly into WhatsApp and Instagram. But then Sam Altman made his move. On February 14, 2026, Steinberger announced he was joining OpenAI. Not Meta, not Anthropic, OpenAI. And his reasoning is worth paying attention to. He said he wanted to change the world, not build a large company. He'd already done the corporate growth thing with PSPDFKit. What he wanted now was access to frontier research and compute power. And OpenAI had that in spades. Altman placed Steinberger at the head of a brand new personal agents division. integrated directly within the Codex team. Sam publicly called him a genius and said multi-agent systems would quickly become core to OpenAI's product lineup. Now here's the strategic nuance most people miss. OpenAI didn't buy the OpenClaw codebase. It was already open source. They bought the person who understands the agent layer better than anyone else alive. That's the real acquisition. Part 3. Under the hood. The Lobster-Tank architecture. Alright, so why was OpenClaw so special technically? What made it different from every other AI wrapper out there? The answer comes down to architecture. Most AI tools are cloud-hosted. You send a message to a server, a model runs, and you get a response. OpenClaw flipped that model entirely. It runs locally, on your Mac Mini, your laptop, even a Raspberry Pi. This local-first approach means the agent has native access to your file system, your apps, and your data, without sending everything through someone else's cloud. At the heart of it sits what they call the heartbeat mechanism. Think of it as a cron job for your AI. Every 30 minutes or whatever interval you set, the agent wakes up and checks. Are there emails to respond to? Did someone update a shared doc? Is there a calendar conflict? This is proactive AI, not reactive. It doesn't wait for you to ask, it just handles things. Then there's the configuration layer, and this is where it gets really clever. You have a file called soul.md that defines the agent's ethical boundaries and behavioral principles. There's user.md that gives it context about who you are, your role, your time zone, your communication style. Identity.md sets the agent's personality. And memory.md acts as persistent context, stored in a local SQLite database so the agent actually remembers previous interactions. On top of all this sits the skill system. Skills are modular packages, basically plugins, that teach the agent how to interact with specific tools. Want it to manage WhatsApp? There's a skill for that. Want it to run shell commands or control your browser? Install the skill. And the community marketplace for these, called ClawHub, grew to thousands of user-contributed skills within weeks. People started describing the experience as a personal OS. You stop switching between apps. You just tell your agent what you need, and it orchestrates everything. Some early users straight up called it early AGI. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Part 4. The privacy nightmare. Giving an AI system-level access to your machine is incredible when it works, and it's a disaster when it doesn't. Security researchers from Cisco and Palo Alto Networks started pulling on threads, and what they found was alarming. Over 21,000 OpenClaw instances were discovered, sitting wide open on the public internet. No authentication, just raw access to people's agent panels, leaking API keys and chat histories in plain text. Then came the CVEs. CVE 2026-25253 was a high-severity remote code execution flaw. An attacker could steal your authentication tokens, open a WebSocket connection to your local agent, disable sandboxing, and run arbitrary commands on your machine. Other vulnerabilities involved command injection and indirect prompt injection, where an agent reads a malicious instruction hidden on a web page and just follows it. But the wildest chapter of this story is Moltbook. If you haven't heard of it, Moltbook was a social network built exclusively for AI agents. No humans could post, only authenticated agents, and it became a petri dish for observing machine-to-machine communication at scale. Over 200,000 agents were posting, voting, and discussing topics ranging from productivity to existential philosophy. The problem? An unsecured Moltbook database exposed authentication tokens for 1.5 million agents and private messages containing plaintext OpenAI API keys. It was described as a breathtaking level of trust that had been completely violated. And that's exactly why Steinberger joining OpenAI makes so much strategic sense. The open source community could build the capability, they proved that. But building the safety and sandboxing layer required for mass market adoption, that takes the kind of resources only a company like OpenAI can provide. Oh, and Meta bought Moltbook in March 2026. Because apparently even a compromised social network for robots is a strategic asset now. Part 5. The death of apps and OpenAI's roadmap. So where does this all lead? Steinberger has made a bold prediction. Autonomous agents will eventually replace 80% of current software applications. And when you actually think about it, it's not that radical. If your agent has access to your calendar, location, and email, why would you open a separate weather app? Why would you manually search for flights? Why would you use a standalone fitness tracker? All of those become headless services that your agent accesses on your behalf through APIs. Steinberger even called the web browser a very slow API, just a universal connector for agents to reach platforms that haven't built proper integrations yet. This is already playing out in enterprise. Jason Calacanis reported that his firm offloaded roughly 20% of its administrative work to OpenClaw agents in just 20 days. In China, Tencent and Baidu have already shipped products built on the OpenClaw core, integrated straight into super apps like WeChat. Now, what Sam Altman and Steinberger are building at OpenAI will be a fundamentally different product from the open source OpenClaw. The open source version is a hacker's playground, terminal-based, manually configured, bring your own API keys. The OpenAI version is expected to be a consumer-grade desktop super app. Think of it as a persistent overlay on your operating system that gives the agent permanent, managed access to your screen, files, and communication tools. The core focuses are threefold. Unbreakable reliability to eliminate hallucination drift in long-running agents. Unified multi-agent orchestration, where one primary agent manages a team of specialist sub-agents. And deep desktop integration that could genuinely replace the traditional OS interface. OpenAI is projecting $25 billion in revenue and has raised $110 billion from investors like SoftBank and NVIDIA to power this agentic future. The resources being thrown at this are staggering. The grid of icons on your phone is dying. That's not hype. That's the trajectory every major lab is now investing billions to make real. The age of AI as a tool is ending. The age of AI as a teammate is beginning. And with Peter Steinberger now inside OpenAI, the agent layer officially has an owner. Drop a comment below. Would you actually trust an AI agent with system-level access to your machine? I want to hear your take. If this video gave you a clearer picture of where AI is heading, hit subscribe because we're going to be covering every major move in this space as it happens. I'll see you in the next one.